Hi everyone, welcome back for another video. Today I'm just out doing some hoopers with Susan and Cracker. So we're out on a big green field site. Let's share that with you. Lots of agility and hooping things and dogs jumping through. But while I've got a few spare moments, I thought I'd do a quick video and talk about Octopus Energy and something that came to light just the other day when I got a message online from someone telling me that the terms and conditions for Octopus Energy Go have changed. And it's not just that the terms and conditions have changed, but it set my mind, not racing, but set my mind thinking about the reasons behind it, what's going on and what's coming in the future. So what's actually happened previously with the terms and conditions for Octopus Energy Go, there were 5 conditions. Now there are 6. The 6th one is basically saying that they're restricting Go to just those people that have electric cars. I think it was always intended that they wanted Go to be used by electric car owners, but they never enforced it. And that meant people that wanted to use Go as an Economy 7 alternative, because it was cheaper and better, they piled in and used Go as well. But now it's formally enforced. There's a terms and conditions in there. It's just for people with electric cars. So what does that mean? And what do I think about what's actually going on? Well, the first thing to say is probably it means that they've got too many customers that are going to be on Go, either now or they're planning they'll have too many in the future. With prices as high as they are, Go is probably making them a loss. So what they want is less people, undesirables, shall we say, that aren't using it how they want it to be used. And that means that if it's not profitable for them now, I'm starting to think, will it be profitable for them in the future? So they are keen to reduce the number of new members or members that they've got for Go, and it is a beta system and it is optional. You know, they can decide what you go in for and what you don't, and whether they accept you in or not. It's not just a tariff you can definitely get. So we've got to feel sort of privileged that we're already in and we've got this. But it makes me think that having seen Octopus Agile and how the wholesale prices weren't low overnight. In fact, a lot of days, the low period of 3, 4, 5 pence lower than the maximum of 35 pence was around 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon. So overnight cheap electricity wasn't happening. It was more expensive than the max 35 pence. So that leads me to start to think, a lot of people, including Octopus Energy themselves, are making a big presumption here that cheap overnight energy is definitely going to be a thing. And yet, at the moment, it doesn't seem to be. Cheap energy overnight is something that should occur, but actually isn't occurring. So will it always be there? Will we always have the opportunity for cheap energy overnight? Or could the energy market change and our balance of where we get our energy from change in such a way that cheap energy doesn't occur overnight? In which case all these people and all the systems that we're building that are relying on cheap energy overnight, like battery storage and heating in winter, maybe that won't quite work out as we thought. So will cheap energy overnight continue to be a thing forevermore for the next decade or two? Or is it something we should be concerned about? Are these first initial signs from Octopus Energy limiting Go to just EV drivers? Is that a first sign that they're not quite certain about how cheap electricity is going to be overnight into the future? For Octopus Energy themselves, well, aren't they proposing and being part of this TEPIO system? Aren't they? I don't think they've announced that it's TEPIO yet, but I think everyone sort of thinks that it is. But they're talking about introducing a boiler replacement system, so your oil and gas boilers can be replaced with a new alternative to something similar to an air source heat pump, but they're saying it's going to be a lot cheaper than an air source heat pump. That just sounds like the TEPIO system, and the timing of it being released sounds about right too. But Octopus Energy are restricting Go from people that just want to use overnight cheap electricity for the heating. They're only having it for the electric car. So what if they were starting to sell TEPIO systems now for your heating systems? According to the terms and conditions, if you didn't have an electric car, you can't go on the Go tariff. So very, very interesting as to what's happening and whether it's a short-term thing or whether it's a long-term thing. So this T&C system, boiler replacement, to me it looks like just a boiler box that's got some storage capacity in it. Might be some sort of ceramic device where it's storing up to 40 kilowatt hours of cheaper overnight energy, and then you release that during the day. So it's almost like a storage heater, but it's presumably a much more efficient one where you can store much more heat, and it becomes a direct replacement for a boiler. So to me, it sounds like a really, really good system because it's going to store up all your excess solar energy, and in the winter when you haven't got enough solar energy, you can charge it up on cheap energy overnight and then heat your home as well, so throughout the day. So it does seem like a really good idea, but you start to see Octopus's plan for introducing that and introducing all these wonderful green things with electric cars, renewable energy, cheap energy overnight, heating your home without fossil fuels. It's all making sense. But that issue about whether Go and the cheap overnight tariff will really exist. Will the 4.5, 5.5 pence cheap rate suddenly change so that it's 10, 15 pence, and that's the cheap rate? And then it's not so cheap, is it? It's quite expensive. So our presumptions about how much it's going to cost us to heat our homes in the future and our plans, because bear in mind, if you're thinking about changing to an air source heat pump or something like that, it's thousands and thousands of pounds. This isn't a short-term decision. You're making a long-term decision for the investment in your infrastructure in your home. And it does concern me a little bit what's happening in the energy market and whether cheap overnight energy will continue to be a thing. We need an excess of power provision during the night that's not needed, and hence they want to sell it cheaply. Like the old Agile, how Agile used to work with plunge prices. Until we start seeing some of that again, I'm going to feel a little uncomfortable. Anyway, I thought I'd share that information with you and my thoughts about it, and let you comment, let you have a think. What do you think's going on? What are your thoughts for the future? What's actually going on? Why have Octopus Energy introduced this limitation that only electric car owners can have the Octopus GO tariff in the future? Anyway, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. These videos are getting viewed now in greater numbers when I'm talking about energy. So it does seem that this channel is starting to attract a greater following for home energy, renewable energy, solar panels, batteries and home heating, those sort of things, than electric cars. Who would have thought that the EV puzzle, trying to decide what electric car I'm going to go for, would start to change into more about the renewable energy and energy provision at home? So until the next video, take care. See you again soon. I do need to give you an update, don't I? An update on what we're doing with heating at home, because I did notice my last month's energy update didn't really tell you, have I turned the heating on or have I not? How far into the month have I gone with no heating? And how am I getting on with these portable heaters? That'll be next. I'll be doing an update on that, so a mid-month update on what we're doing with the heating and how we're getting on. Take care. See you again soon for another video. Bye for now.